Greetings everyone, Peter Canego here from Midship Cinema, launching a new playlist today called Arrivals. The subjects of this first episode will be the VISTAFJORD, the SOUTHWARD, and the MAXIM GORKIY. And fans of the MAXIM GORKIY might recognize Fireball in Space, that gorgeous panel behind me, and that red lamp from her observation lounge. As always, I appreciate your support. I do hope you will hit like and subscribe if indeed you enjoy this. And if you have time, comment. I always enjoy reading your comments and responding. Thank you so much once again. Cheers.
Somehow we managed to get access to the LA Harbor Coast Guard property on Terminal Island, which was an ideal vantage to capture the incoming trio of cruise ships. Leading the procession was Cunard's VISTAFJORD, considered by many, myself included, to be among the most beautifully proportioned passenger ships of all time. The rising sun here reveals the wear and tear of 20 years of tugs on that graceful hull. Rated 5 stars, the VISTAFJORD was called the Rolls-Royce of cruise ships in the 1983 movie Table for Five, and was built in 1973 for Norwegian America Line, and bought by Cunard in 1983. Next up was Norwegian Cruise Line's rakish Southward, which was followed by one of my all-time favorites, the MAXIM GORKIY. From there we raced off to capture their arrivals at the LA Cruise Terminal, just in time to catch VISTAFJORD entering the turning basin under the Vincent Thomas Bridge. And meanwhile, the MAXIM GORKIY was passing Port Sakal Village, and Southward was making her initial approach. In no hurry, the VISTAFJORD was showing off her fine lines as she patiently waited for the other two ships to maneuver into their berths at Pier 93. Although Southward may not have had the classically elegant profile of VISTAFJORD, she was a dynamic and pioneering cruise ship that helped establish Norwegian Caribbean Line's, later Norwegian Cruise Line, into the powerhouse it is today. Built in 1971 as the third of NCL's purpose-built wedge-ship trio, she measured 16,710 gross tons and carried 802 passengers. Thanks to her simple but beautifully coordinated architectural details, like her angled bulwarks and exquisitely sculpted funnel uptakes, she was easily the best-looking ship in the history of the NCL fleet. And yes, this footage is sped up, just to save a little bit of time, but all the details are there. Within a year, the Southward would be sold to UK-based Air Tours and renamed Sea Wing. In 2005, she was sold to Lewis Cruises and renamed Perla. And in 2010, she became the Israeli-based Rio, then in 2012, the Venus, before being scrapped at Aliyah in 2013. And now for the MAXIM GORKIY, which at the time was sailing under charter to Germany's Phoenix Risen. The 25,000-ton ship was built in 1969 as the Hamburg for German Atlantic Line. She was nicknamed the Spaceship, not just for her spaciousness with a maximum capacity of just 652 passengers, but for that brilliant funnel, which looked like an hourglass with a spaceship parked on top. The Hamburg was designed by German modernist architect Georg Manor and featured among her many innovations one wide central alleyway or corridor versus two on each deck. In 1973, the Hamburg was renamed Hanseatic just before German Atlantic Line folded. Then she was sold to the Soviets and renamed MAXIM GORKIY. The finest ship in the Soviet fleet, she hosted the Malta Summit with Bush Sr. and Gorbachev in 1989 after almost sinking after striking an iceberg earlier that year. She was also the star of the 1974 movie Juggernaut, a thriller starring Omar Sharif about terrorists who hijack a cruise ship. Were this ship not built with fuel-hungry steam turbines versus diesels, she might still be sailing. But sadly, the still pristine ship was scrapped at Alang in 2008. There'll be much more Maxim Gorky on this channel in due course, so please stay tuned. As for the magnificent VISTAFJORD, Cunard renamed her Coronia in 1999, then sold her to Saga Holidays, who renamed her Saga Ruby in 2004. In 2014, Saga Ruby was renamed Oasia for planned use as a floating hotel, but the venture failed and she was scrapped at Alang in 2017. Well, these three beautiful ships are all gone, but the cruise terminal is still there, and for good measure, so are we. Thanks for watching.